Bitcoin news, Bitcoin adoption is happening right here in front of our eyes, ladies and gentlemen. I have tried to talk to people about Bitcoin periodically, and outside of these YouTube channels, my motivation for doing these YouTube videos, is to get people to understand this right here, and that is that Bitcoin is going more and more mainstream. Long term, there's no stopping it. I say long term because I believe that there is potential. We're in a volatile market. I believe that Bitcoin could lose 20, 30, 40, 50% of its value, maybe even 70 or 75% of its value. However, long term, this technology isn't going anywhere as far as blockchain technology. And I believe Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. I believe there is absolutely no stopping it at all. Corporations may compete, governments may interfere, may compete, but long term, I don't think they can stop it. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Heck, consider this entertainment, consider it satire if you would like. It definitely isn't financial advice. Here's the deal. One of the recent news stories, Bitcoin adoption in the luxury market is growing at a rapid pace. Bitcoin adoption in the luxury market is growing at a rapid pace. What does that mean? Bitcoin adoption in the luxury market is growing at a rapid pace. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it right here. There's two main reasons that Bitcoin is so incredible as a currency. The first is it's an incredible store of value. It's a better store of value than your own paper money. If you have $100,000 sitting in the bank account, in your bank account, there's no good reason to have $100,000 sitting in a bank account. You should have that $100,000 in something that will not get eaten up by inflation. Average government inflation rates are around 3% a year. That means, with that being said, that's the government stated numbers. There are evidence that the numbers could be much higher than that. The government does not consistently calculate inflation the same to publish their numbers. They change how they calculate it. In fact, I've read articles that said if the government continued to calculate inflation today, the way they did 20 years ago, we would see inflation rates as high as 10% on government calculations used on the calculations they used to use way back when. However, with that being said, a lot of people like Bitcoin for a store of value. You can buy gold, but when you buy gold, you have to pay fees to hold gold. You have to pay storage fees, or you have to hold it in your house, and that presents its own security risk potentially. Bitcoin, you could get hacked. Those are always a potential risk, but it's easier to store Bitcoin. You can carry it around on an external wallet that's not much bigger than a thumb drive. And so some people like Bitcoin as a store of value. So that's one major use for Bitcoin. The other use is simply transactions. Bitcoin is supposed to be cheaper, easier, faster for transactions. The reality is one of the reasons it's not on a mass adoption scale, meaning mass adoption is in the majority of the world is using it, the majority of the developed world is using it, is because it doesn't make sense. There's fees right now to transact Bitcoin. The network is so busy. Used to, there were very low fees. It was almost free. In fact, you could do it for free. This day and age, right now, the way the current environment is, the network and the current miners can only process so many transactions. So transactions end up need to have a fee basically to be able to go through smoothly. Well, that fee can be anywhere from $3, $4, $5, $7, $10. When it's congested, it can go much higher than that, but typically you're looking at like the $5 to $10 range. So it doesn't make sense to go buy a cup of coffee for $5 and pay a $5 fee in addition to the cup of coffee. However, this article is talking about in the luxury market, and I believe that this is the most important market because arguably this is the most important market. They're talking about the luxury market, but what they really mean is the high value market. So when you start talking about moving money on large items, to talk about like a Da Vinci painting, selling the price range of $1 million to $100 million. Well, there's massive transaction fees based on this price right here. So right here, to move $100,000, it could cost you nearly $4,000. But to move $100,000 in Bitcoin, it can cost you, $1 or $2 or $3 or $4 or $5. It's not going to cost a tremendous amount. No matter this, the Bitcoin fee is a straight fee no matter the size of the transaction. So in your larger transactions, this is an incredibly good deal. And it's basically saying that people are beginning to recognize this. This article is saying that, hey, people are beginning to recognize this. They're beginning to consider using it. And it's growing at a very rapid pace. More and more people are using it. It just makes sense. I think this is incredible. This is another reason the cryptocurrency space is so unbelievable. Yes, it's a store of value. Yes, currently as of today, it's over $8,000. Yes, it's volatile. However, it's also a great way to pay for large purchased items, large high-ticket items, because it's so much cheaper, so much faster, so much easier. And by the way, it doesn't take, sometimes it can take several days for a large transaction to go through, depending on how it's going through and what's happening. However, Bitcoin, matter of minutes, sometimes you can clear a transaction of nearly any size. So that's unbelievable. This is an awesome article. Share, people, like this video. Click to subscribe to get more positive Bitcoin news. I'm all about putting out videos, making people aware of this technology, where it's going and what it's doing. It's unbelievable technology. I have, by the way, my motives for doing this are very simple. I find it very exciting to talk about. I find it very exciting to discuss. I like to connect with other people. And I want to bring awareness to this, but at the same time, I'm investing in this space. I have a personal interest to see this go well long term anyway, so I want more people to be aware of it, to know about it. And at the same time, listen, it is time enough that the wealthiest people in society continue to get wealthier and wealthier. I come from a humble background. I've had some success in business, but at the end of the day, I love the fact that the average Joe can get in on this technology, put a few $100s a month into crypto investments. Again, this isn't financial advice. Spend your own time doing your own research. Take responsibility for your own actions. It is absolutely risky, but the average Joe can choose to invest a little bit of money in this space and potentially be a part of one of the greatest technical, economical developments that may have ever existed literally since the beginning of developed nations. We are talking about moving money in a totally electronic, decentralized space without a centralized interference, such as a company, a government, or a bank. That's incredible. We are living in some truly exciting times. Wow. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. God bless.